Hi, how's it going? I'm Marlene. Thanks for wandering by. And say hello to Hilo, my companion for this video. I'm filming in his domain, so whenever I do this, he's just gonna join us. So hi and welcome to my channel. I'm Marlene. I'm a poet and a tarot reader. And today's video is, bear with me, it's gonna be a little bit of a ramble at first, but overall, what we're doing today is showing you my journey with the making of a mega oracle deck, basically. So it's gonna be oracle decks combined, and we'll get to the deck soon, but first I wanted to kind of take you along with me in some interesting, to me anyway, what I feel like are interesting ideas about oracle and messages and guides. And I am, as those of you who've been here with me may know, new to all of this stuff. New to the tarot, new to oracle. And so recently, I want to say, all along, I've been sort of experimenting and figuring out what oracle means to me, what different oracle decks mean to me, how they function in my practice. And I've kind of brought you along on that journey with me, and I'm continuing to experiment. And this is another way that I'm doing that. So let me back up and just say that I feel like the big question overall for me when it comes to oracle is, where are the messages coming from? And I'm not so sure how often we discuss this on TarotTube in general. I feel like there's some implied understanding of where people believe, what people believe in, just kind of how they speak about their own practice. So I can tell you for me that a lot of this is new to me, not just learning how to read the cards, but spirituality stuff in general. Is a lot of these things are newer to me, not new to my understanding, but newer to me as a belief system or value or practice in my life. I identified as an atheist for many, many years. So I grew up Catholic and practiced Catholicism up through my teens. And then pretty much from the time I was my late teens and early 20s until, I want to say, maybe a year or two ago, I identified as an atheist. And I did sometimes bat around the label agnostic for a little while too. So I kind of, but for the most part, spirituality, believing in magic, believing in, magic doesn't have to be spirit. Well, anyway, bear with me too if I'm not saying things in necessarily the way that many of you would, but this is just me, and I'm just gonna, kind of go there in the way that I do. So what was I saying? Oh, magic, deity, spirit guides, messages, that, otherworldly things and realms and all that kind of stuff was something that I just flat out didn't believe in. And I've opened up to believing in and working with many different things in the last couple years. And so oracle decks for me are a bit of that mystery, or a bit of that learning process, because the tarot, while can be spiritual, magical, all those things, it makes sense to me in connection to humanity. So it's very easy for me to see the story of us in the tarot. It has a system, that just makes sense. And it can be mundane, it can be spiritual, it can be many different things, but it didn't there wasn't the question mark about it in the same way that oracle decks have been for me. So all that to say that I had I purchased these 3 different decks by Stacy DeMarco, and I will talk about them in depth after I get through this preface. We're gonna go through those decks, and I'm gonna take you with me on figuring out how those decks work for me in this making of this mega deck. And I had, for whatever reason, I saw those decks, and they kind of each sat in a different place in terms of messages from guides. So that was my question, like, where are these messages coming from? And in my journey here, I've been kind of trying to work with different, I guess we can call them, in my mind, they feel like different planes of existence. And the Oracle decks are like my way to tap into these different planes of existence. And somehow they kind of end up being in like categorized in like a hierarchical way, and that's just how I work through things and process things. And this could change over time with the way that I see these particular guides and messages, but I feel like there are guides and messages that like inhabit, this earthly realm, my reality, my world, that are closer to me. And these things are like animal guides. And so like the animals are there, and maybe tree spirits and ancestors, because, like even if it's in like some sort of like spirit realm, they feel closer to me than maybe some other bigger cosmic things. That's just kind of how I see it. So I feel like they're just a step above me, if that makes sense, in the way that I see. And I keep going like this because I'm like thinking of like the universe and the everlasting and the Tao and the unknowable and the giant big macrocosm and things are just way, way outside of me and my ability to reach it. So like the guides are conduits, right? And so different oracles, I feel like, are representative of these different guides that are giving messages to me through myth, through story, through their very nature, and things like that. I hope this is making sense to y'all, because like it's so hard to explain like the way that I see how the universe works. And I'm like piecing this kind of thing together myself. So like there's that realm for me, and like this is just kind of how I'm sussing things out at the moment. And then there's like this next realm or this next plane of existence or something. I feel like I'm like I feel like I'm in a episode of Charmed, but like you guys follow me, I hope. So like there's another realm for me where it's like there are mythical creatures, fantasy creatures, and things like angels and aliens, and they like more ethereal type beings. Although, I mean, I guess ancestors you could think of like spirits and ghosts that way too, but they just seem of the earth because they came of the earth. I don't know if that makes sense. And there's also the concept of the holy guardian angel, which if you've studied Thoth, if you've read the Book of Thoth, or any of those books where they, kind of translate Crowley's, teachings and stuff. But although I'm not like a super diehard Crowleyite, Crowleyan, I don't know, whatever. I still read the thing, and the holy guardian angel for me is very much that conduit. And so these kinds of beings, spirits, guides, I still also in some ways think of them as metaphors. um, and I mean, often I do think of them metaphorically and symbolically as well. Because I'm still working through like I'm still working through like any kind of absolute belief structure, if that makes sense to you guys as well. I apologize for this mighty ramble here, mighty long ramble. So yeah, so it's the first, like this first plane of existence with the animal guides, trees, spirits, ancestor type things, beings, guides. And then above that is like the angels, aliens, mythical creatures, things that are that I haven't actually ever seen with my own eyes. Right? So like animals exist here, I've seen them, but angels I haven't seen in any kind of corporeal, form. And then the holy guardian angel, like I said, is this, it's a whole kind of idea that I read about in my study of the Thoth. And that's really like your own personal guide. And I'm simplifying everything quite a bit here just for the sake of time. So then, there's the whole thing, right? The universe, the Tao, the whatever you want to call it, the everlasting is what Ian Daniels says in the Tarot Vampires book. God, some people, that's what some people call God. But I don't. Anyway, the everlasting and the Tao are like, the things that I kind of latch onto, although I'm not an expert on Taoism in any way. So that is sort of like the next level, is what I was saying, the angel, kind of level. And then there's another level. And like I said, this is just my brain that categorizes and puts things in like a hierarchy. And that's what makes sense to me. So after that is like is deity. But for me, it's, I guess many people will call like personified deities, the story deities, the deities that have names, that we've given names to. Sorry, the doggy heard people walking by. So where was I? I was talking about the next level up is the personified deity, the story deities, the deities that we've given names to, that have myths and legends surrounding them, that there's human characteristics. Obviously, that's what personified means. And they are, they're the named deities. That's what I think of them as, the story named deities. And so they're on the next level. And I have oracle decks that and practices in which I've been exploring and tapping into messages from guides that exist for me on that level. And then above that, and this is, maybe this is like, very much like the Greek mythology where they had the Titans or things like that. And I'm also not an expert in Greek mythology. But anyway, where above for me, like the personified deity is the like essential elements. And I mean like elements, phenomena, like concepts and things that are not human, that are not personified. But I mean, they have been personified in different myths and legends as well, but I'm thinking of things like primordial stuff, right? So like primordial gods and goddesses, and things like concepts like time and space, and like abstract things, but also elements like primordial waters and fire and wind and earth and things like that. And so, I mean, I could get into like, this with the tree of life as well. But anyway, like, so this is kind of like my piecing together these different like planes of existence, where these different guides, deities, ideas, metaphors, myth, and legends and things, where all of this is kind of like where it exists somewhere, and then how I'm tapping into it through these different oracle decks and the messages that are coming to me from these different places. And I feel like some of them have, like, I've have easier access to than others, or I have like, I'm drawn to different things than others. And so all of that, hopefully that makes sense, because those are the planes. And then here's me playing with oracle decks, trying to figure this stuff out. And so in the making of this mega deck, which, like, I bought these decks with the idea of putting them together, and then I didn't realize that that's what I was doing, that I was taking these different, well, I haven't told you yet what I realized I was doing. That what I was doing was wanting to put together different guides from these different planes of existence into one mega deck, so that I could kind of pull from these different areas, because I tended to before like zero in on one kind of plane or the other, if that makes sense. So I have like animal decks, and I have like specific deity oracles, and I have angel specific oracles, or a specific mythology, things like that. So like what I purchased these 3 decks without that in mind. And then when I went to go, like, I wanted to make this video and bring you along with me on putting together this deck, I realized that that's what I was actually doing, that I was kind of working through my through line, I don't know what you guys call it, like my telephone to these spirit guides, and in sort of putting together my spiritual guide family, like the guides that I am wanting to work with in a mostly, for me at this point, it's a metaphorical way, that does have real bearing in my real life as well, and is opening me up to spirituality. But for the most part, it's in a metaphorical way, my work right now. But yeah, that what ended up happening is that I realized that this is what I was doing, that I was kind of wanting to receive from potentially these different planes of existence, of ideas, of whatever, from one big deck. And not all of the things that I mentioned are represented in these 3 decks, but they do cover like some big areas. And so I just thought it would be really cool to bring you with me. And yeah, so I hope that whole preface made sense to you. I have like a diagram that I drew for myself that I was showing to a friend of mine about where my brain dump of all of this stuff. And yeah, and I know it's really simplified and very rudimentary for some people who may have been working on this longer and like, you know, that kind of thing. But this is just where I'm at, authentically me. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip the camera around and I'm gonna walk you through all 3 of these decks that I got, and I'm gonna go through them and pick out the cards that I want to keep, maybe cards that I don't want to keep, and then we'll end up with one big mega deck of the, you know, of my spiritual family. Really, it's like the mega deck of my spirit guides. So yeah, I'm gonna turn that around now and we'll get started. Alrighty, so here we are. Again, I just want to quickly summarize what I just said because I hope that I made sense to you. That this is about my experimentation with oracle decks and also in my spiritual journey, kind of figuring out and answering the question for myself, where are these messages coming from? And what does that mean to me? And so in doing so, I'm putting together this mega deck, which feels like it is pulling from different various planes of existence, spirit guides, messages, mythologies, metaphor mostly, that I want to have one big place to kind of gather those and receive those messages from. And so here we have, I'm going to get to the decks, but first of all, I just want to point out that this is my very first Peggy bag. Peggy's shop is called Sparks Creations, and I'll leave a link to it below. This is one of the, I purchased this specifically for this project because it is one of her large bags, and it is, if you're going to do something like this, make a mega deck, a mega oracle deck, or even mega tarot deck, then you're going to want to get the large size. So we'll come back to the bag, but first let me just go over the decks that I have here. So these are the 3 decks that I purchased that kind of ended up in this experiment. And I have not yet worked with these 3 decks. I have definitely looked through them all, at least once or twice. I started kind of working with this one, like I did a couple of pulls, but not really much. And I edged this deck, as you'll see. So what we're gonna do is, I don't know that I'm gonna like need to, in this moment, identify where these particular things land in my like hierarchy or categorized like spirit guide, kind of levels that I was just talking about, but I might. It feels to me, and I'll see more specifically when we get in there, that we've got, our animals here, and then we have in this deep, dark and dangerous oracle, I believe there's going to be mythical creatures and named deities and things like that, perhaps angels and alien type thing that we're going to see here. And then the elemental oracle, in my mind, kind of represents those like bigger, more conceptual ideas, primordial type things like the elements, rather than like physical, where they live in these other kind of levels for me. So yeah, we're going to go one by one. So I don't really have much of a plan. This is the Divine Animals Oracle, is where we're starting. I don't really have much of a plan except to just kind of go through the deck and, choose what I want to keep and what I don't want to keep. And that way you can take a look at the cards as I go. Like I told you, I haven't really worked with these decks. I did edge this one in blue. And I'll show you the setup so that you can see why all of these decks are gonna go together in one mega deck. So let's go ahead and get started. And let's start with this one so you can see the setup of these cards if you haven't yet seen any of these decks. They're all exactly the same size. The backs are different, as you'll see, but it has a number at the top and has the image. It has the name of the thing, the animal, deity, whatever it may be, as you'll see in the other decks as well. And then it has a keyword, which is really tiny for my taste, but it has a keyword, I believe, or key phrase. I think for the most part it's one word though. So far, jackal works for me. Sacred ibis, learning. Red fox, strategy. Red crowned crane, I like it. Gorilla, peace. Peacock, prosperity. Sea turtle, jaguar, bull, dog, oh I love these. Orca, hare, cycles, I like that one. Meerkat, responsibility. Wolf, authenticity. Leadership, elephant. Dolphin, happiness. I think I like that one. Some of these images, I'm not so sure. They're interesting. They're different. Rhinoceros. For the most part, I'm paying attention to the keyword. And just kind of going with like what a feeling I have. So all of this definitely feels like it's tied to the animal guide plane of existence for me. And I love working with animal guides. It's something that I've gotten into just recently, although I've always been interested in animals. Fruit bat, flying fox. I love these like blown up, because this is the divine animals. So they're like these, giants and juxtaposed here with humans. Bison, peregrine falcon. It's funny because this one is like very specific, and there's other, less specific. Tarantula. Oh, sorry to those of you that don't like spiders. Fierceness, Wolverine. Of course, makes me think of X-Men. Sorry. Shark. Beaver, honeybee. I don't love this image with the bees all over. It kind of skeeves me out a little bit to have bees all over the face. I think I'm gonna take this one out. Intuition, cat, I like that. Butterfly, seahorse, hyena, snow leopard, the watcher. This one feels strange to me too because all of the other keywords are like adjectives for the most part. A lot of them or noun. Oh, I mean, I guess they're nouns too. But the watcher seems strange. I'm gonna take this one out for now. Armadillo, groundedness, swan, beauty, lioness, protection. This animal head, person, body. I'm not sure about that one either. We'll see. It might go back. I reserve the right to change my mind. Power, deer, change, chameleon, will, tiger, and secrets, lynx. Okay, I think that's good. I took out 3 that I wasn't into for the divine animals. I set this one aside and move on to the next one. Okay, and so here we have the Deep, Dark, and Dangerous Oracle, again by Stacey DeMarco. And this is, I think it's her newest, but it contains different creatures, deities, legends that are more on the shadowy, dark, dangerous side. And I wanted to combine that in into this mega deck as well. I don't see all of these things as dark necessarily in like a negative way. But in any case, here are the backs, and this deck has this gold gilding. So it's we're going to definitely have different sides here in this mega deck, but I think I don't care. I don't care. So let's take a look at the front. So as you can see, I'll grab one of the animals so you can see them next to each other, and you see they're exactly the same size and they have the same setup where they have the number at the top and then they have the name of the thing, whatever it may be, and then it has a small keyword above it, and then it has these like embellishments here down at the bottom. So we have Kali, love, I like that one. I'm not gonna be able to pronounce that one. Service, Circe, alchemy. Oh, and it does tell you if it's deep, dark, or dangerous here at the top. Okay. So these live in the realm of, for me, personified deity, like here, Persephone. Mythical creatures. I think I like all of these. I haven't really, oh, this is the one that, yeah, it's just weird looking to me, sorry, because it has the person inside the seal. I can't, it just weirds me out. Even though this is I believe a deity, I don't know, I'd have to read through the guidebook. But yeah, that one is gonna come out. Mischief, I like this one actually. Dragons, so you've got dragons, vampire, I can't pronounce that, but I like it. I wanted to say Minotaur, Hecate. I like all of these. Banshee. So far, I'm just going based on the aesthetics, the keyword, and the name of the thing right now to make decisions about whether or not I want this in my mega deck. And then obviously in working with it, things might change. Okay, I like it. I think I might need, I wonder if Stacey DeMarco, I'm not sure, also has a like mythical creatures, deities deck that is like whatever the opposite of deep, dark, and dangerous would be, to kind of juxtapose and have different things. I like this. So far, everything is good. Medusa, Hell, the Kraken, Depth, Shadow. Okay. I'm unsure about this one, but okay. We're leaving it now. Hydra, Kelpie. Okay, I like that. Cerebus, I like. Sheila Nagig, I like. The Morgan, Nyx. Okay, so all of these are Hades. Okay, all of these are in that, you know, mythology, story, deity, mythical creature realm for me. So I only took out one of these. So yeah, apparently I like this one. All right, so I'm gonna just set this here and then we're gonna move on to the next one. Okay, so finally we have the Elemental Oracle, and this is, I flipped through it. It has, like, for me, larger concepts, like bigger ideas, primordial elements. So it kind of goes into that other next higher up realm for me. So let's take a look, and just like the other two, the backs are different. In this one, it has the silver gilding. I've considered maybe chopping all the gilding off of all of these and then making them have the same edging, but I don't think it really matters because the backs are different. I'd have to reback everything too. I'm not sure if that's something I'm gonna do. But let's take a look at all three of them side by side so that you can see how everything lines up. You see how they're all exactly the same size and they all have the same, you know, structure on the front where we have the number at the top, we have the name of the thing and a small keyword, and then these embellishments on either side. So they're going to like facing, like, you know, facing up, it's going to be seamless, I think, in terms of being able to read with them. And oh, I didn't mention this, but I think I want to do, once I put everybody together, I want to do a reading, a quick reading from my spiritual family. And now we're going to take a look at the elemental oracle and make decisions about what we want to keep. So this one I might be more difficult for me to get through because these ideas, you know, I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. Okay, so pressure, fire, plants. Oh, okay. All right. That one's okay. North, time. That one's great. Inner core. Inner core. I'm not so sure. I'm gonna put that to the side for now. Cave. So these are like also earthly structures. Atoms, I love that. Voice. Okay, so it's not just elemental. I didn't read the guidebook on any of this. East, there's directions, magnetism, mountain, the biome, connection. I'm not so sure about that one either. Earth, yeah. West, south, outer core. Oh, okay. Well, if I have outer core, then I do want to have inner core. So I'm going to put inner core back. Because you guys know how much I like dualities. Okay. Wind, yes. Music. I mean, I like the idea. See, this one I knew was going to be a little bit different for me. This was the one that had lots of question marks. Music. Okay. Rain, the equator, to make equal. The equator. Okay, we'll keep it. Bushfires. Fury. Okay, like I understand like the potency of this. I just think it doesn't mesh for me with the rest of what I've got going on in here. So we're gonna take that one out. Hearth, comfort. Okay. Water, ice, electricity, oceans, yep, speed, sun, yeah, this all dark matter. This other stuff feels more cosmic to me than the bushfires. Gravity, rock, animals. See, now I have, this is like all the animals as like a universal concept. And then I have like the specific animals in the other one. I wonder, do I want to keep that? I think I do. Volcanoes, magic, see, I love that. Desert, air, storms, snow, breath, passion, the soul. Okay, marine life. See, now I'm feeling like I want to take, like if I have animals, why is marine life different? Sorry guys, you're rolling with me. So this is supposed to be like, no, there's like reptiles and things there, but not fish. I guess this is why these two things are different. Richness, companionship. These are question marks for me. I'm gonna put them aside. Lake and moon. Okay, all right, so that's the elemental. These all originally started with 44 cards. So now we're going to put it all together. Oh, well, first let's take a look at the guidebook. So each of these come with their own guidebook, some bigger than others, like that one's chunkier. I do want to hang on to the guidebooks. I am a fan of guidebooks. I like to use them. So hopefully these will fit in the bag because I know that each of them has information that I want to take a look at. And I know the animal one had like a mythology or a story in there too, which I want to, although this is hard for me to read. Okay, so that's a peek into that guidebook. Here's a peek into the Elemental Oracle. So it gives you this, it gives you the keyword, word of power. And then it has like a little bit of explanation and, oh, all the elements. So each card has an association with one of the elements or all of the elements or a couple of the elements. See, like I said, I haven't played with these yet. And then the Divine Animals Oracle, I know this has definitely more involved. Gives you the name, the keyword, the mythos, yeah, the mythos, the animal itself, the magic, symbology, status. Okay, this is cool. I like these guidebooks. I'm probably gonna dip into them as well, so hopefully they'll all fit. Okay, so here's what all three look like side by side. They are, I took 4 out of this one, 3 out of this one, and I believe just 1 from the Deep, Dark, and Dangerous. But because of the gilding, I think, and the different, the finishes are the same though. I didn't really talk about cardstock, but I think because this one doesn't have that gilding, it's a lot thinner. But what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna shuffle all of this together into one mega deck. And I'm gonna do that off camera and then I'll show you what everything looks like once we've shuffled her. Shuffled her? I guess this one I've gendered as a female. We're gonna shuffle together and show you what that looks like. And then we'll do a little reading, okay? Okay, so after a lot of shuffling, here's what the mega deck looks like all together. Decks came with 44 cards and I removed about 7 or 8 of them, I think, total. So we're like at like 120 something total amount of cards here. So I think it looks so pretty with all this different colored gilding. And I obviously am not able to shuffle this giant all at once, but I was, I took it in chunks and pieces. And I think what I'll do now is do like I want to do a reading and see what this looks like in all together. So we're going to shuffle a little bit and then we're going to, I think I can overhand it. Yeah, I can definitely hold it like this and do some gentle overhand shuffles. But yeah, that's not terrible. I don't mind that at all. Of course, I'll know what cards are based on the backs, but I think I often close my eyes for some shuffle. I'm gonna go ahead and ask, what do my guides want me to hear today? And this could be for me and this could be for all of you or any of you out there that this will resonate with. What do my guides want me to know today? Take a look at these together and see what we have. So we have Grief, the Banshee, we have Synergy, the Chimera, and we have Adventure, South. That's so interesting. So I would probably go into the guidebooks for these separate ones, but Grief, Synergy, Adventure. So overall, I'm feeling like there's definitely something from the past I need to allow myself to feel the grief about. but also kind of use that and that synergy, that bringing together. For me, it feels like that's what this is saying, to bring together this like grief and adventure, that we need to kind of pull these two energies and put them together and then move forward. It really definitely feels like a past, present, future, even though that's not where I landed. But it seems like there's something that that maybe I have not wanted to listen to in my heart, and it needs its own, kind of moment to come together. I don't know the mythos of the chimera, so I would definitely want to read about that. But it seems like there is like a story here for myself in my own grief, in my own processing of that grief, and where it will eventually take me. So I think it's, I'll probably, spend some time thinking about these things, working with the guidebook and journaling about this. But I believe I got, I got only 2. We didn't get any of from the divine animals. These are from the deep, dark and dangerous, and this is from the elemental. So really cool. I'm excited to use this as a mega deck on its own. I feel like that's kind of where it's going to live, in that space for me, where it's going to reside as a big giant mega deck. So here is the big guy, and I think I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to put it in the bag for you so that we see how well it fits inside the Peggy bag. So let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, like I said, if you're gonna do mega decks, you need a large Peggy bag. Oh, and it fits beautifully. And don't know about the guidebooks coming in here too. Let's see if the guidebooks fit. They are a little bit chunky, but it still does. That's fine. That it all fits, so I can keep my mega deck with their guidebooks all here together in the Peggy bag. We can put it all together here in this Peggy bag, in one bag where it will live. And I think that's it. So thank you so much for sticking around with me through this kind of weird and different journey that I went on with this making of a mega deck for my own spiritual guides. And I hope that you enjoyed that. I hope that you all have a beautiful, wonderful day. Bye.